Now, when you look at your preparation for level 1 and compare it to level 2, what is the different thing that you did? And how is overall level 2 different than level 1?
Level 1 was just a test of the water, I would say. But level 2 is like a deep dive into the ocean.
Okay, okay.
So I would say that in terms of the syllabus, it's very vast, level 2. And
What was the average time you were giving every single day to prepare?
so initially, the average time devoted was less, it was around 3 hours.
Okay.
Then I slowly increased the time.
And how did you manage operation risk? Because it's so vast, so theory. So is there any specific thing that you did?
Yes. So operation risk reading, 2-3 times I had to read to familiarize myself very well, and solving a lot of different questions from different sources. That was helpful.
And which book was very tough, difficult for you?
So credit risk. Credit risk was very difficult.
If somebody comes and asks you in terms of how to prepare for level 2,
Right.
what is going to be your top 3 tips? Hello guys, I hope everybody is doing good. Hi, this is Ganesh Naik. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for competitive exams in finance like CFA, FRM and SCR. And I have today with me one of my students who has been able to clear the FRM Level 2 exam in the November 2024 attempt. And she's going to be talking about her journey of clearing the exam. So we have with us Swathi. Swathi, thank you very much for taking out time.
Thank you, sir, for having me here.
And for the benefit of the audience, if you can tell, when did you appear for level 1?
Sure.
What is the overall profile that you have? And then when did you started preparing for level 2?
My journey began in 2023. I gave my level 1 exam in May 23 and I cleared it. And before that, I have been working for 7.5 years in the field of finance.
Okay.
I am a postgraduate in finance, and my most recent experience was with HDFC Bank.
Okay. And when did you started preparing for level 2?
Level 2, I started preparing in 2024, and I gave the November attempt.
Okay, but at the start of 2024 itself, you started?
Yes, when the new syllabus was out.
Okay, okay. And what was the average time you were giving every single day to prepare?
So initially, the average time devoted was less. It was around 3 hours.
Okay.
Then I slowly increased the time once the date was getting closer.
Okay.
So 4 to 5 hours a day I was devoting.
Okay, and this was consistent or there was break in between?
This was consistent.
Okay, okay. Yes. And on an average, to complete a book, okay, say for example, an operation risk book, how much time you were taking? You were writing your notes also along with that or not?
Yes. So what I found to be helpful was for theory heavy subjects, I was preparing notes.
Okay.
And for calculation heavy subjects, I was also preparing flashcards.
Oh, interesting. Yes, interesting.
Yeah. So the flashcards, I would write the title of the formula, and behind I would write the formula and the explanation, and just review them once. Every day, once I would review the flashcards.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. And which book you found really helpful or basically easy for you to prepare, and which book was very tough in the entire journey?
So easy in terms of preparation was investment management.
Okay.
Because there were a lot of common topics with level 1 like portfolio management and
CAPM.
CAPM, yes. So those topics were also interesting for me.
Okay.
And the number of chapters were less in investment management, which was easy to
as compared to operation risk and liquidity risk.
Yes, yes.
Okay. And how did you manage operation risk? Because it's so vast, so theory. So is there any specific thing that you did?
Yes. So operation risk reading, 2-3 times I had to read to familiarize myself very well, and solving a lot of different questions from different sources. That was helpful.
And which book was very tough, difficult for you?
So credit risk. Credit risk was very difficult.
Because of the change also, I think so this year they changed the credit risk content. So
yes.
That also created a challenge.
Correct,
right?
Correct.
And generally credit risk had some amount of calculation also.
Right.
You have in that book, then there is some in liquidity, and then there is some in investment management risk. So how did you manage the preparation for the calculation based questions?
So for me, I am strong in calculation.
Acha.
Calculation is my strong point.
Hmm.
So I could do well that way.
But it was not a challenge as such.
It was not
Okay.
a challenge as such.
Okay.
But surely memorizing the difficult formulas were a challenge for me. In credit risk, there are many difficult formulas.
Yes, as per the new syllabus, there were a lot of difficult ones.
Yes.
Now, when you look at your preparation for level 1 and compare it to level 2, what is the different thing that you did? First, that I want to understand. And how is overall level 2 different than level 1?
So, level 1 was just a test of the water, I would say. But level 2 is like a deep dive into the ocean.
Okay, okay.
So, I would say that in terms of the syllabus, it's very vast, level 2. And some chapters are completely new, which there is no
there's no connection with the level 1.
Right, yes.
Right.
There's no connection with level 1, and it's a totally new thing which we are learning. So
Right.
it's not like CFA where the subjects are the same in all 3 levels. So that was a little different. And the number of chapters are also
103 chapters.
Yes.
But in terms of your preparation, did you change anything?
Yes, in terms of preparation, in terms of change, I read first. I completed the readings, and then I solved the questions, and then I would revise according to the questions that I've solved.
Acha, you did one more revision again after that.
Yes.
After your solving of the questions.
Yes.
Okay, this
Yes.
is interesting.
Yes.
Now, in the entire journey, was there a period where you felt you had self-doubt on yourself that whether I'll be able to clear the exam?
Yes, this was definitely there. Because sometimes I would not get the score in the sectional test, the good score, or sometimes I would struggle with one particular concept, one particular chapter. So these were challenging times during my preparation.
Because see, I have a point to add over here. A lot of time what we do is we make an assumption that okay, for this chapter I have to get 75% and above. But everybody on an average is getting 55, 60.
Right.
So I think so that mindset that okay, I'm doing good or I'm at least on a track, I'm solving more questions. That is what the students need to understand, not necessarily compare yourself with the expectation of very high score. But that creates a lot of problem.
Yes.
And in the entire journey, were you able to maintain the consistency throughout from the start till the end?
No. Definitely, there were family commitments also in between. So that was hampering my continuous preparation. But last 3-4 months, I had no distractions and I was preparing consistently.
Okay. When you went to the actual exam, you started solving. How was first 1 hour? How was that experience?
So this time actually, first 1 hour was not very challenging for me.
Okay.
I could solve it. Definitely the questions were taking more time to solve than the mocks which I had given.
And the questions were lengthy?
Yes, the questions were lengthy. To read itself, it was taking like around 1 to 2 minutes to go through the question. So but in terms of solving, I could solve it. And compared to the mocks, like I was completing the mocks within 3 hours or so. But the actual exam, to complete all the questions, it took me 3.5 hours.
Okay. So timing as such, because you get 4 hours, so timing was not a problem in the level 2 exam for you.
Yes, timing was not a problem. I could not review as much as I had hoped to do.
Okay.
Yes.
And overall, out of 80 questions, how many was theory and how many was calculation in your exam?
So theory was around 30. Practical numericals were around 30.
Okay.
And remaining were.
And you had expected this much numericals?
Based on what others were saying, like my exam was on the last date, 19th.
Okay.
So based on what others were saying, this time I was expecting that there might be more numericals.
So out of those 30, how many questions were manageable in terms of you know the formula and you can solve it?
Yes.
How many of them were there?
Most of them were manageable.
Okay.
Yeah, around 20 at least.
Okay, and
Yes.
10s are slightly higher, where they
Yes.
will check the understanding and all.
Yes.
And with respect to the other theory part, if you remove the 30, 50 theory, what was your view on that 50?
So this time I found that they had tested a lot of cyber risk related AI and all the new topics that GARP had added.
They were testing heavily on that.
They were
Okay.
testing heavily on that.
Interesting.
And even in operation risk, like more into the cyber risk part, which we normally don't pay attention, those parts were being tested.
Interesting, interesting. And overall, the exam, how many questions you flagged or you wanted to go and review?
I had flagged around 20 questions.
But rest 60, you were confident when you chose the option, you know.
Yes.
Okay. And did you also use option elimination in the entire exam period?
Yes, that was my process throughout. I used option elimination. That was how I approached my solving.
So when you came out of the exam, you were confident that you will clear?
Yes, I was.
Okay, wonderful.
Yes.
Now, what is the quartile that you have got?
It was 2-1-2, 3-2-1. I scored 2 in market risk, operation risk, and investment management. 1 in credit risk,
which is the most difficult book.
Yes, and current issues, and 3 in liquidity risk.
Okay, very good, interesting. Now, if somebody comes and asks you in terms of how to prepare for level 2,
right,
what is going to be your top 3 tips?
So I would say, consistency is not an option. You have to be consistent in your preparation. And, it's important to maintain a balance. Like we have learned about this concept in blockchain, about the scalability trilemma.
Yes, current issues, yeah.
Right. So in that, it is mentioned that either you can have scalability, decentralization, or speed.
Yes.
Right. So it's not speed. Sorry, what is?
There's one accuracy. Accuracy is also there. No?
Yes.
So you have to maintain the balance with respect to your life.
Also,
and
it applies. You can't have everything, right? So you have to choose the top 2, and you have to work towards it. That is one tip I would give. And other tip is that when you are having some doubt, you should reach out to the community. And so most of the students, what happens is they sit with that doubt and they start doubting themselves, like why they are not able to understand this concept.
Right.
But when you try finding out, you see that even other students are having the same doubt.
Right.
So that helping each other will help you grow.
Right.
Yes.
Because in the community also, a lot of people, they don't solve other people's doubt.
Yes.
They feel that everybody should solve my doubt, but no, I will not solve anybody's doubt. This will not help, because in any competitive exam, you have to be involved in the process of solving and all.
Yes.
So wonderful. I mean, Swathi, this conversation is going to be really, really helpful.
Thank you.
For all the students, because this will motivate them to clear the exam, like you mentioned, the consistency part,
yes,
in your exam day part. So thank you very much for taking out time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me.